So we're going to get started. You will notice that we do have the live transcription going on the bottom. When we're in a different language, it doesn't quite translate correctly. So just know that if someone speaks in a different language, you might be surprised by what actually happens. Fabian, would you go one more time and explain to parents how to turn on the interpretation, please?
Sí, buenas noches. Esta noche podemos tener la traducción a nuestros padres. Por favor, si notan al final, abajo de la pantalla, tienen un botoncito que dice interpretación. Luego van a tener la opción de seleccionar el lenguaje, que en esta noche va a ser en español. Y luego les pedimos que por favor también hagan clic en donde dice Mute Original Audio, que va a silenciar el audio en inglés para que escuchen la presentación completamente en español. Y luego mirarán que su botoncito ya dice en español. Entonces, esta es la forma de escuchar la presentación completamente en español esta noche. Gracias.
Thank you, Mr. Morales. So, good evening. My name is Wynn Satterwhite, and I'm the principal of Los Altos High School. I absolutely have the best job in the entire world, and we are so excited to welcome you, parents of the class of 2026, to Los Altos High School. Tonight, you'll have an opportunity to listen to our counselors talk a little bit about the course selection process. We will then also have a chance for each of our department coordinators to talk about what their departments are like for a ninth grader. And then we will have an opportunity for students with IEPs to speak with Mrs. Starks. We'll have an opportunity for parents who are not part of our partner districts to speak with Ms. Vaquero. And the rest of us will be here to answer questions. We will try to keep up with the questions in the Q&A tonight as we go. But if you'd like to wait around and hear some generalities at the end of the presentation, we'd love to have you do that. So again, my name is Wynn Satterwhite, and it is an amazing opportunity to have you all here with us tonight. Los Altos High School is a great place to be. I've been here for a number of years. My kids both graduated from this high school, and it feels like home to me. And our goal is that Los Altos High School will also feel like home to you and your students. We want you to be involved, and tonight we're going to give you lots of opportunities and ways to become involved. So I'd like to introduce my administration. These are the people that make Los Altos High School great. You'll have a moment to hear from each of them, and I'm going to start out with Mr. Morales, who you heard just a second ago, and have him talk a little bit about what he does here at Los Altos High School.
Good evening. My name is Fabian Morales. I'm the assistant principal that works with our counselors in helping secure that our students are properly placed and supported both socio-emotionally, academically, and getting them ready for that next step in their lives.
Next up is Mr. Galen Rosenberg.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Very happy to be here with you, this evening. I am the person that you would probably meet through technology or facilities and other aspects of the kind of infrastructure of our school here. We're very proud of the new facilities that your children will get to enjoy next year. I hope have had an opportunity to see our brand new classrooms, our brand new athletic fields, a brand new engineering building, which Mr. Hine will be very excited to show you at some point in the future. It's a very exciting place to be for a lot of reasons, and we're very proud to be able to offer you these outstanding facilities alongside some great teachers and administrators.
Thank you, Mr. Rosenberg. Next is Kristen Castillo.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. You know, one of the main things I love about Los Altos High School is the sense of community and how everyone really looks out for each other and takes care of each other. I'm primarily in charge of our clinical team, wellness and mental health. And so again, not only are academics important to us, but the whole student. And so we have resources available if your student is ever struggling and needs more support on our campus. We have so many trusted adults on our campus that will be able to support your child. So thank you. Welcome.
And next we have Suzanne Woolfolk.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Suzanne Woolfolk, and as one of our assistant principals, I believe I have the most fun on campus as an administrator because I get to work with student activities. If your student's interested in clubs, student government, ASB, or student community leaders, or just being involved in this campus community, we will be working together, your student and I, for the next 4 years. So welcome, welcome, welcome to Los Altos High School. We're so excited. We're already working and planning on fun things to do in August with your students. So good to have you here tonight.
So we want to take a few minutes at the beginning of this evening to talk a little bit about opportunities for parents. So tonight we are joined by some of our presidents for the parent groups, different parent groups. And first I'd like to introduce Laura Schmidt. She's part of the MBLA Foundation and wants to tell you a little bit about this, but I have to tell you that the foundation helps us so many different ways, and we really hope that you will join them.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Laura Schmidt, and I am a parent volunteer here to tell you about the MBLA High School Foundation. I'm also the parent of an 8th grader, so I would be here anyway. He's my youngest. I currently have a junior at the school, and I have another who graduated from Los Altos last year. So we've had great experiences at Los Altos High School, so I'm excited about that. Now, most of you have heard of the Los Altos or Mountain View Educational Foundations if your child has been in a local public school. But for those of you who are unfamiliar with our educational foundations, the MBLA Foundation is very similar. We're basically a nonprofit organization created to raise money to fund academic and wellness initiatives for the 2 high schools in our district. Now, if this is your first child to attend Los Altos High School, I just want to highlight some of the ways the MBLA Foundation will directly support your 9th grade student. First off, we fund smaller class sizes in freshman English, which is great. Freshman English classes are 20-to-1, a great ratio. The foundation also funds smaller classes in math. So if your child will be in Algebra 1 or Geometry or Algebra 2, that class size is going to be smaller too. And the goal here is just to promote a more cohesive class culture, more engagement on both sides of the desk, and just a lot more one-on-one time with the teacher. The foundation, secondly, also makes Chromebooks available through the school for every student. So you don't need to buy an expensive computer for your student, no matter how much they tell you they need one. Both my older students have checked out a foundation Chromebook in the past. In fact, one of my students had a laptop, but the cat spilled water all over the keyboard and destroyed it. So we did make use of that Chromebook. Now, these are going to be available for students in the book room at orientation in August. So your child can check one of those out when they take out their books. Third, the foundation funds the on-site tutorial center, which is staffed with tutors with whom students can schedule appointments, and they can also drop in if they need extra help. And I just think this is awesome for the students. Really, really awesome resource. If they're having trouble at school, they have tutors they can access right on campus. So just make sure your student is aware of this resource. Kind of along the same lines, the foundation funds extended library hours. So your student has a place to study after school until 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday. And finally, I wanted to mention one of my favorite things that the foundation does, and that's the funding of innovative learning grants, which really can also directly impact your 9th grader. The grants are provided to the teachers to give them a way to fund these special, interesting, kind of hands-on projects so as to challenge students to think outside the box and discover alternative problem-solving solutions. And some examples of these past projects funded by the foundation include the creation of a writing center on campus. We funded TED Talks, a food chemistry fair, a world language celebration. We've purchased new equipment for scientific discovery, and we've even funded stratospheric weather balloon launches. So again, that's just a random sample of projects that I really think are great in that they keep students just really engaged in this collaborative and fun learning. The foundation funds a lot of other things other than what I've just mentioned. For example, when your child gets older, junior year, that college and career center, that's going to be an important resource for you. That's also right on campus. But you can read about our other programs on our webpage. That's mvlafoundation.org, and you can contact us at any time. Thanks so much for your attention, your support, and welcome again to Los Altos High School.
Thank you so much, Laura. the foundation does so much more for us, and we just can never thank them enough. So any amount of opportunity you have to support this group is great. They're always looking for people to be on the board and or just kind of do that phone calling or mailing or whatever else. So if that's a place that you'd like to get involved, we'd love to have you there. Another opportunity that our parents have to get involved is through our PTSA. And tonight we're joined by Jen Dennebaum, who is the president of PTSA, to tell us a little bit about what they do.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jen Dennebaum. I'm the current PTSA president and the parent of a junior and a 2020 Los Altos High School graduate. Our PTSA supports the high school by communicating important school information, providing programs to enrich the school experience for our students. We support our teachers and staff, and we encourage parent involvement. When your child is in high school, they are more independent and there are less opportunities for parents to be on campus. So that's why we encourage you to get involved in some of the programs and opportunities the PTSA provides. It's a really fun way to get a peek at what high school life is like and see how awesome these kids are. If you have time to volunteer, I really encourage it. Some of the ways we support the school include staffing the pizza carts and snack shack for lunch every day, hosting events like STEAM Week and Writers Week, providing an online student directory to PTSA members, putting on staff appreciation events, and funding the freshman orientation lunch. Our next PTSA meeting will be held on March 1st at 7 p.m., and you are always welcome to join. And at every meeting, our principal, Ms. Satterwhite, our superintendent, Dr. Meyer, and our student body president will provide updates and answer questions. You can look for info in Words from Win for details or follow us on Instagram. Thanks so much and welcome to Los Altos High School.
Thank you, Jen. PTSA is fun, and again, another way for you to get involved. Our next group of parent speakers are Angela Player and Valerie Carnes, and they're going to talk to you about athletic boosters.
Hey, parents. Looking forward to meeting many of you involved with athletics. My name is Angela Player. The first thing you'll do when you do your back to school registration, if you have an athlete, is hopefully join the athletic boosters. With your membership, entrance fees to all the games are covered, to all home games are covered. And that is one of our main fundraisers for boosters, as is the pumpkin patch in the fall and a tree lot in the winter. And currently we are working on supporting an athlete family spring fun run. All money raised goes directly to pay for team uniforms, sports equipment, awards, and tournament fees, and all coach trainings. We'd love it if you would join us. You can find out more about us we have a website, LAHS athleticboosters.org, or through the school website under athletics. There's information about athletic boosters and direct ways to contact me and Valerie. So yes, we'd love to have you join us. We can always use help on boosters. Also on the school website, there is a link to buy athletic booster wear. So I'm modeling one right now, a Los Altos Eagles shirt, and there's all kinds of options. You can custom make them. You can make them say, for my athlete that's graduating 2023, all kinds of different things. So yeah, we'd love to have you join us. Our meetings are Monday nights at 5 at school. We've been doing mostly meeting in person, but we do offer Zoom, and our next meeting is February 14th. So Suzanne's got our February 14th background going on there. And welcome everybody, and we'll hope to meet you guys soon.
And our last parent speaker is Chris Hondell, and he's going to talk a little bit about instrumental music boosters and how you can support this group of students. Okay, maybe Chris is
I can step in if Mr. Hondel's not there.
I don't see him, Miss Wolfel. Could you help us with that? And I'll see if I can find him.
Of course. So everyone, I have been thrilled for the last 8 years I've been able to sit in and be part of instrumental music boosters. I know there's probably questions out there as well. in a variety of the performing arts about, are there auditions and when are the auditions? Well, I need you to know, well, for all of our performing arts, but specifically for Music Boosters, while some levels may have auditions, whether they be video or live, we need you to know that all are wanted and all are welcome from first year into advanced for our music programs. And Music Boosters invites all parents as well to join. We have a lot of fun in planning things, everything from marching band and getting prepared for performances, from tech to costume. If you know how to do hair, we want you. If you know how to or are willing to make giant pots of spaghetti, we want you. All in good name of socializing, having fun, and supporting our students, which, as you all know, as parents, sometimes it's very healthy, don't forget, but very common for our high schoolers to push us off of the campus scene. Well, Music Boosters is one great way to still be involved in their high school lives, and we hope that you will be. And so if your student is thinking about marching band or any level, whether it be orchestra or jazz band, whatever it might be that's ready for them, we will have more information up on the LHS homepage regarding auditions and more information. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Woolfolk. And if Chris joins us, we'll pop back to that. I have another person that I'd like to introduce to you because tonight we're here about students, and that is Ada, who is our ASB president. So are you with us? And would you like to tell us a little bit about your experience here at LAHS?
Yes, I would. Okay, so my name is Ida, and as it was mentioned, I am the ASB president, and that's the Associated Student Body, which is one of 2 leadership groups on campus. And I decided to try to join ASB my freshman year. Right out the gate, I came from a kind of non-common feeder school, which was Block, so I didn't know many people. And I wanted to meet new people. And I also had, like, honestly, an older sister who I was really hoping that was going to be an ASB. And then while my sister and other factors was like my influence, she didn't even end up being in the class. And I like met a bunch of different people, and it honestly changed me a lot for the better. And I was able to make a lot of good friends that I still hold today that are like a couple grades above me. And so ASB was just a great opportunity for me to like connect my school community as well as like make my own community within school. And I think that like along with clubs that like are offered at school, like I'm also involved in BSU and Green Team, things like that, just like getting yourself out there and joining things that you wouldn't have thought you would join, like even sports. Like I was in cross country my freshman year, and you know, I found out it wasn't for me, but nonetheless, I tried it and it was fun and I met people. So I think that I just found like my people through trying different things and like experimenting and getting involved, like diving headfirst into things and kind of like giving everything that I do like my all, like no matter like if I'm like nervous or like reluctant at first, like I feel like you just have to really try it and like give it 100% and see if it works out. And if it does, it does. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. And I think that's really helped at Los Altos. And I think it's also been important to like balance my classes and take classes that I'm like actually passionate about and not classes that like I, you know, think my friend is going to be in, or like I want to take it for this credit or that or whatever. Cause you know, like you're your own motivator in a class. So if you're not enjoying it, you're not going to do well. So I think that that's some of like the things that I've learned and some of the ways that I've made friends and kind of got involved in like my school community and like been able to make a difference. Cause like I love Los Altos, but there have been things that I've wanted to change, and I've been able to do that through like the things that I get involved with. So I think that's like important to know that you're able to do like at your school and that you can kind of be important as a student. So yeah.
Ida, this is Miss Woolfolk. I wanted to address. We've had lots of great questions related to your most favorite thing, freshman orientation. So I'll also put it in the chat and this will be recorded, but this is hot off the press. You don't even know this yet, Miss Ida. And you'll be maybe not long gone, but you'll be graduated. We are going to have freshman or really new student orientation on Friday, August 5th. So our website will be updated as well, so everybody knows that information. And in 30 seconds or less, there's been a great question that had to do with, how do freshmen, we're going to talk about how they pick classes. There's a whole session with the department coordinators, but how can freshmen from our feeder programs, how are they going to get to know a little bit like about what you just said, that student perspective?
Yes. So during freshman orientation, the whole entire day, you're put into groups of like about 10 people-ish, and you're led by Jumpstart mentors. And Jumpstart mentors are like students at school. So there'll be students that have been in the classes that your kid is probably going to be taking that upcoming year and have like been in activities that your kid may be interested in, can answer the questions that your like kid has firsthand. And they're going to be the ones that are giving the campus tour. They're going to be leading them through games throughout the day, going to be getting them lunch. And also these Jumpstart mentors, they're not just for the day. They are like people that stay with these freshmen throughout their whole like freshman experience. You exchange numbers during that day, and you can reach out to your Jumpstart mentor at any time, asking any question. I'm still in contact with some of my freshmen that I was their Jumpstart mentor. And I also ended up becoming like really close with my Jumpstart mentor, who had been like a junior when I was a freshman, but we had just talked so much that we ended up becoming friends. So those are going to be the people that are going to be able to answer your questions that you have about school, that you have about extracurriculars and things like that, and also get you familiar with the campus.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So now you've heard a lot about how you can get involved and what kids can expect as they move forward. But what we're going to talk about now is actually a question that's been mentioned several times in the Q&A, and that is, how do we get into Los Altos High School? How do we sign up for classes? How do we do all those things? Before we do those pieces, though, there's one other person I would like to introduce you to that actually plays a huge role in many of your students' lives, and that is Michelle Noeth, and she is our athletic director. And I think Mr. Morales is going to put the slideshow back up, and we'll see where we are with that.
Awesome. Welcome, everybody. I'm Michelle Noeth. I am the athletic director here at Los Altos High School. Welcome to class of 2026. You can see my email contact is on the first slide. And on the second slide are some dates that are going to be important that are coming up soon. So right now we're going to have a full night dedicated to just athletics and what your student needs to know about how to get involved in athletics. And that's going to be on May 3rd, 2022, 6 p.m. via Zoom. And that's where I'm going to go into more details about the expectations of athletics and how to sign up, registration, all that fun stuff. Because tonight you're going to get so much information that we're going to separate that into a different evening. And then we'll invite some of the coaches to come and join us so you can get to meet some of them via Zoom. The registration for athletics is going to begin June 6th. So that's after your student is done with their middle school, that will open up the athletic registration, which is completely separate than registering for your classes. This is an online athletic clearance that if you go to our athletic website, you'll see the directions of how to register. Please do not start registering yet, because that will not be open until after our school year. But that gives you an idea of what the process looks like as far as making sure you get a physical and how to submit those documents. And then the summer sessions for our sports will be posted in May. So as we get closer to May, you can go to our athletic website and you'll see a link that'll take you to what sports are offering open gyms or open field, etc. during the summer. And so if that is something that you're interested in getting involved with before school begins, that again will be posted in May. Our fall sports, so if if your child is planning on doing a fall sport, which is information's in a later slide, you can also go to our website. The fall sports begin in August, and August 5th, that Friday, is the first day of our fall sports, which starts before school begins. So keep that in mind if your child is planning on participating in field hockey, football, cross country, and stuff like that. And again, stay up to date by visiting our athletic website. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter. So we post different things, so that'll also help keep you up to date of what's happening. And if you have questions, you can either email me or put it on your calendar for May 3rd, 6 p.m. via Zoom. So any athletic questions you have will be able to be answered that night. And I'm looking forward to seeing our newly inducted athletes come and participate in our sports. We have 26 sports to offer, so there's something for everyone. So thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. And now what you guys have all really come for, that is to hear from our counselors. So I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Morales, and you've asked a lot of really good questions. We will get to them, and don't worry if your student can't come to freshman orientation. We got you covered.
So good evening. It's my great pleasure to introduce an amazing counseling team and people that you will be familiar with for the next 4 years. They are student-centered, and I cannot, every day that I come into work, they are some of the most magnificent people, strong advocates for our students, and just overall great people to have a good laugh with. So without much further introduction, I'm going to pass it on to Mr. Ryan Carter.
Thanks, Fabian. Hi, everyone. Welcome. We are really happy to be with you here tonight, and we're even more excited to go in and meet your students beginning next week and throughout the course of next week as we start visiting the middle school. So we can go ahead and go on to the next slide. So I wanted to begin by just sharing a little bit of information about our counseling team. You've heard a little bit about it already. We have at Los Altos 7 full-time school counselors on our staff. They're all photographed here. And the person on the far right is our counseling secretary, Maite, who is a wonderful support to us as well. All of your students are going to be partnered with a school counselor during their time at Los Altos High School. And that assignment is based on the alphabetical order of their last name. And one of the really nice things that we do at Los Altos is we keep our students and counselors together throughout all 4 years. So that really allows them to get to know us and us to get to know them, and an opportunity for us to create strong and trusting relationships. As Mr. Morales mentioned a little earlier in the program, our role as school counselors is really to help support your students holistically in all aspects of their development. So we are certainly working with them, helping them to be successful academically during their time here. But additionally, we're also supporting them in their social and emotional development, as well as planning for next steps after high school. So we can move on to the next slide. So the focus or purpose of tonight's presentation is really to offer you a bit of a preview of what we're going to be covering as we begin going into middle schools to meet your students beginning next week. And as we go in and we have conversations with your kids, we're really going to be focusing on 2 main areas. The first is giving them information so that they can have a great start academically in their freshman year. And in particular, we're going to be giving them information about selecting their courses and setting up a schedule that really supports them, challenges them, and allows them to have fun and keep a balanced life while they're pursuing their academics. The second area that we're going to be talking about with your students is really more around the theme of student life, helping them get connected. As you're going to hear in just a second, connection is something that we think is really, really important to student success and well-being during their time here. And so my colleagues are going to be talking about that a little bit more in just a few minutes. Tonight, as Wynn mentioned earlier, this presentation is going to be posted, so you're welcome to take notes, but it'll all be available to you, the slides as well as the video of this evening. So I think we can move on. And it is my pleasure to introduce my colleague and friend, Tamisha Wise.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. So good evening, everyone. I look forward to welcoming your ninth graders to Los Altos. And so this is our website. And so it has a wealth of information. You log into LAHS website, click on the right-hand side to the counseling page. And this is the website, lahs.mvla.net. So when you're picking your courses or when your students are picking your courses, we do have a course selection info on the right-hand side under more. And so it will be a wealth of information to provide you. It's the incoming ninth grade kind of link. It is the helpful PDF for your incoming ninth graders. You can select the link. We do have a video in addition to that to assist you with the whole process. The process ends, so the students will have to pick their own courses, and the deadline is February 18th, 2022. Next slide, please. So just to go over, if you see this is our LAHS graduation requirements. You will hear this, or your students will hear this over and over and over again. And we do have on our website the graduation requirements, in addition to getting the information, or your students will get the information every year. And so the counselors are really good at ensuring that all of your students are completing the graduation requirements, in addition to completing their college entrance requirements as well. So just know this will be drilled into your student from the start. So next slide, please. And so when students are selecting their courses, I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Parker, my lovely friend.
Thank you, Ms. Wise. So for students in ninth grade, both 6 and 7 classes are considered a full schedule. Either is perfectly fine, depending on what your students' interests are and their adjustment to high school. A typical schedule in freshman year will include English, which is survey of composition and literature. For history, world studies, and brand new next year, there will be ethnic studies. You'll hear more about that from the social studies department a bit later. All students, regardless of whether or not they're playing a sport, will have PE. And there are several math options. You'll find out in the next slide about what that looks like. Science students can choose from environmental science, biology, or biology honors. And students may elect to begin their world language study in freshman year, and perhaps an elective or an academic support class. For freshmen, the 2 subject areas that offer academic support classes are Algebra 1 and Survey, which is English. Next slide, please. So for our incoming freshman families, we encourage them to look at the course catalog, page 27, to find out more information about the math placement and sequence. But there will be an information night on February 10th that you can register for. It's going to be in webinar format. You can find out all of the questions you might have about math, the pathway that your students can take throughout their 4 years at Los Altos High School. And for our students who plan to take Mandarin next year, there will be an in-person placement test that students should pre-register for, and that's going to be on February 9th. And the details for where to register are on our website. You can find the Math Info Night on the district website, and the Mandarin placement test is under the registrar section of our Los Altos High School website. Thanks. And now I'm going to pass it on to my colleague, Miss Mistel Ali. Oh, actually, sorry, no, one more for me. So the course selection sheet. This is a really helpful tool that your students will actually get a copy of when we go and visit them next week at their middle schools. It's also available on the counseling website. This lists all of the courses that are available to them next year, as well as the course codes, which makes it very easy for them to go ahead and put that information into their course selection in Aries. And now, Ms. Mistel Ali.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Deanna Mistel Ali. And so on the back of the course selection sheet, you're going to find this time management worksheet, and it's very intentionally placed. There was a lot of thought put into this, and it's really a tool for you to be able to use with your student as they're making course selections in order to have the most balanced schedule for them. We really would like to have them map out what their schedule is going to look like in addition to the other extracurricular commitments. And so, we're really just encouraging you all to take the time to fill out this worksheet before making the final course selections in the system. And next, I'm going to talk a little bit about actually starting the process of choosing the courses in your student's SIS account. So there was information that was sent to families from feeder schools that should have already been delivered to you in your inbox. And there was instructions for how to set up your MVLA email account, as well as how to set up your SIS Student Information System account, and that's also ARIES. There's a few links on here as well. So more information to this information can be found on the MVLA website. It's also linked on a previous slide under the 9th grade helpful information link. So students will need to input their courses no later than Friday, February 18th. So that's going to be the last day. And the next slides that we're going to go into are going to show you some details on how to do this. So after setting up your account, you're going to be logging in. You're going to be going to classes, course request entry, and then you're going to be typing in the course name or the course number, and then requesting that as the primary course. Ms. Adler will also talk about another feature. This is just, some quick screenshots. We do have a really detailed video that our department made. And so we would encourage families to check out that video when they're ready to start entering their courses into the SIS account. Thank you.
All right.
Passing it off to Ms. Adler.
Good evening. I'm Daphne Adler, also one of the counselors here, and I'm going to talk to you about a new feature in SIS, which we're actually kind of excited to have, which is alternate course requests. So Ms. Mastelli explained the kind of general way to enter courses. And there are some classes that tend to fill up, like some of the electives, later on some of the AP courses. But for 9th graders, it might be things like drawing 1 or acting 1 or computer programming. This feature allows students to choose an alternate course so that if they don't get into their first choice elective, they've already got an alternate ready and waiting to go, so that we know what they might like rather than us trying to guess, or they just end up not having an elective. These are a couple of screenshots as well. So this is like, on the left-hand side, their list of courses that they've entered. And then at the bottom, there's a section that says alternate course requests, where they're listed. And when the student is selecting a course, on the previous screen, there was a little screenshot that gave the option of selecting a course as a primary or as an alternate. And so the student would select alternate. And then they can associate an alternate with the primary course. So we will explain all of this to them in detail at the middle schools next week. And then they can also sort by priority. It's hopefully pretty intuitive once they're in it, but we will definitely explain this to them. Next slide, please. All right, and then shifting gears a little bit to fun stuff. So aside from courses, a big part of Los Altos High School is getting involved in extracurricular activities. And we really, really encourage students to get involved in various ways, whatever they enjoy. And we are confident that there is something for everyone. It is a big part of students' experience. It's a great way to explore their interests. It's a great way to meet new people, to be invested in the school community, to connect with students in their own class and in other grade levels. And also even to get to know faculty, because most activities have some sort of a faculty advisor. So we really do encourage it. And then beyond high school, it is also important for students to be involved for their college applications. Colleges do expect students to have a variety of activities, although there are no specific parameters around what that has to look like. They want to see students who have been involved in high school in different ways. So this is a very small sample of some of our clubs. Usually we have all kinds of clubs, whether they are based on culture and ethnicity, academics, hobbies, athletics, performing arts, service, all sorts of things. And these are some of our very popular ones, but again, a very small sliver. And if students are interested in having a club that we don't currently have, they are very welcome to charter a new club, and it's pretty easy to do that. So we really do want students to, start new things if they feel like there's something that we don't have and they would like to connect with other students in that way. So besides clubs, we have athletics, and you've already heard from Michelle Noeth a bit on that. Student government is another way. So we have ASB, and we also have ninth grade class council. So students can come without any sort of elected position and get involved in their class and have a say in what happens in terms of events and fundraising and things like that. And finally, performing arts. We have a number of different performing arts classes and groups, and we have an amazing musical every other year. We're about to have Mamma Mia next weekend, and we're super excited. So that's a little bit about activities. Every fall, we have Club Day in mid-September, which is during a lunch period, and all the clubs come out into the quad with tables and kind of showcase what they do. So students can come and check out what we have and sign up for information about different clubs. Next slide, please. And I mentioned athletics. So this is just a quick snapshot of the different sports. We have 3 seasons, fall, winter, and spring, and you can see here listed which sports are offered when. Some of them are co-ed, most are separated into girls and boys, and some are the same season and some are opposite seasons, but you can kind of see the whole list here. And just a few points, all teams do have mandatory tryouts for prospective players. Students do have to maintain a 2.0 GPA to participate in sports, which is not negotiable. So if that is really important to your student, it's a great motivator for them to keep their grades at least above a 2.0. And lastly, students have to be enrolled in a minimum of 5 classes, which anyways, they have to do as a school rule. But in order to participate in the athletic league, they do have to have a minimum of 5. So that's it for me. And I'm going to turn it over to Ariel Rojas, last but not least, to wrap us up.
Thank you, Ms. Sadler, and thank you everybody for being here. It's amazing. This is a very awesome evening to get to talk to you and welcome your students as you drop them off into our school. They become our kids, and they become our kids for 4 years. 7 counselors are there to help students, and we're going to be working with them for the next 4 years, and it's very amazing as we see them grow up. We have amazing resources in our campus, and the tutorial center is also a place where students can get help in all academics. They can either be peer tutors, or they can also go and get help. And I cannot stress enough the fact that the tutorial center is not just a place that kids that need help go to. It's a place where like a lot of kids hang out, and a lot of kids share ideas, and they help each other out. Oftentimes I see many amazing students who are doing really well being at the tutorial center. And so I encourage you to make sure that your students find where the tutorial center is and that they use it. The College and Career Center is also another place where they get amazing help. They get information about college research and career exploration. We have 2 amazing staff members. I cannot tell you enough how happy we are with both of them. And they are already there to help. I mean, and even in the 9th grade, they should go and say hello to the people in the College and Career Center so they can start getting to have a relationship with them. And the same with us at the beginning of the school year. CHAC is the Community Health Awareness Council. We know that there's blue days and there's happy days, and so we are there to help students. Counselors are available to help students with personal, social, emotional needs. And we also have Spanish translation. Jose Salazar is our bilingual community liaison and the EL support. So please take advantage of all these resources, and I cannot tell you enough how happy we are and how thankful we are to the foundation. Without the foundation, a lot of these programs will not be able to happen at Los Altos. So it is for the generosity of the foundation, the MBA Foundation, that we are able to have a lot of the stuff that help our students be successful. Next, please. So just to remind you for very important dates, so the student information system registration window is from January 31st to February 18. The district math night, where you can get information about the math placements and all of the questions you have about math, and it's on February 10th. And the honors contracts are due April 6th. Every student who takes an honors class must sign a contract where they acknowledge the fact that they are going to take an honors class and the rigors and all stuff. And so we want to make sure that we get those contracts by the 6th. The 9th grade orientation, now we know that it's August 5th. So that's great. That's very new. And then the first day of school is August 10th. And that's one of those days where, like, we always look forward to, and to meet the new students and to welcome them to their new house, and for them to have an amazing experience. So now with that, I would like to introduce Margaret Bennett, the English department coordinator.
Mr. Rojas, can I interrupt for just 1 second? And Ms.
Sure,
Bennett, I
absolutely.
apologize. We are very fortunate tonight to have Jacob Valadez, who is our tutorial coordinator. And I thought, Jacob, if you'd just like to say a few words about how students can use the tutorial center and maybe some of the changes that you've made this year to support students in their academic adventure at Los Altos.
Yeah, definitely. Very excited to be here. We are changing things up with the tutorial center. We're trying to make it into a more inviting place for all students, definitely for 9th graders who sometimes can feel a little bit lost coming into Los Altos High School. Part of what that means is actually in almost every single support class on our campus, we do have tutors actually in the classroom with teachers. And so if your student is going to be in a support class, whether that be math or with survey skills, they'll have tutors, older students with them who can help them out. Also, I make it to my mission to come to every single survey class the first month of school. And so every single one of your 9th graders should see my face and know who I am, so that they can get the support that they need and don't feel as intimidated coming and asking me for help. In addition to that, something that we've been piloting this year with all of the absences due to COVID, and if students are out because their parents have COVID or anything like that, is we do have virtual tutoring available. And so if your student is ever out sick, or if they're injured, or if they're on vacation or anything like that, they can still get support with their classes and make sure that they're learning even while they're not on campus. So really what we're trying to do is just make another good support for everyone on campus. But we definitely do try and focus on our 9th graders.
Thank you, Mr. Valadez. And now, Ms. Bennett, I'm turning it back over to you. Thank you so much.
No problem. Welcome, everybody. We're so glad to have you with us tonight. My name is Margaret Bennett. I am the English Department Coordinator at Los Altos High School. Next slide, please. When it comes to your 9th graders' choices in English, they basically have one choice. All 9th graders take survey of composition and literature, and we basically call that survey. Next slide, please. And you can kind of see the overview of our course for the year. If you care to look at this slide more closely at your own leisure, you're certainly welcome to do that. We definitely emphasize the Common Core state standards, as well as building community and helping students adjust to high school. As you heard from our parent speaker earlier this evening about the foundation, we are so lucky that the foundation funds our classes so that we have small classes with only 20 people in each class, which is just wonderful. It's a wonderful way to orient our students to Los Altos High School and build community. And so it's just a great class. I've taught at Los Altos High School almost 20 years now, and every year I've taught freshman English because I absolutely love teaching 9th graders. So it's a wonderful class, and we're excited to have your students join us. Next slide, please. A small number of students may also be encouraged to enroll in survey skills. That is a second English class, primarily for our students who need English language support. These are students who would benefit from their English language learners perhaps, or they struggle with academic English, or they may struggle in terms of their reading or writing skills. And these need to be students who are willing to invest that extra time and effort to improve their skills. So that is also an option, a second English class that a small number of our students might enroll in. And that's pretty much all I have to talk to you about at this point, but I'd love to pass it over to Lorraine Ignacio, our department coordinator for math.
Hi, I'm Lorraine Ignacio. Thanks, Margaret. And I am the math department coordinator. Go ahead and move to the next slide, please. So on this slide shown are math classes offered for you or your rising ninth grader. The math class you should sign up for depends on the math class you are currently taking. If you're having questions on whether or not you should take an honors course versus a non-honors course, then the best person to give you advice would be your current math teacher. They know you, they know your performance this year, and they can give you advice on whether you might want to try an honors course. As previously mentioned, with the MVLA Foundation, we offer smaller class sizes in algebra, geometry, and even in Algebra 2, around 26:1 for that class. We also offer a 2-period Algebra 1 enhanced program for students who might need extra help and the benefit of meeting with their math teacher daily. The program helps students strengthen basic math skills while also keeping up with the Algebra 1 standards. An adult aide is also available in the room for one-on-one tutoring or small group sessions. Ideally, if you or your student is currently in a support class, it would be good to consider signing up for this one. And I saw in the chat math night to register for it. It is on the website mvla.net, and the link should be below. And with that, I'll turn it over to the science department.
Okay, thanks, Lorraine. Hi, my name is Darren Dressen. I'm the coordinator of the science department. And I just wanted to say that I hope that, I guess for myself, when I came here 10 years ago, after teaching about 2 weeks, I felt I had won the lottery. And I was so happy to be here at this high school. And I really hope that's the same way you kids feel after a few weeks of coming to Los Altos. With that, could you go to the next slide, please? And so with that, I just want to say that in science, you have 3 choices. They're environmental science, biology, or biology honors. You heard those earlier from Ms. Parker. And probably the way that I would try to explain that is if you have a student who is really excited about science and has done well during their middle school years, biology honors is probably the place for them. If you have a student who maybe hasn't been as excited about science, or sometimes they do well, sometimes they don't, biology might be a better placement for them. And again, as Ms. Ignacio said, talking to your current teachers or your current science teacher is obviously a very good thing to do. And then, we have some students who maybe have not done very well in science, and maybe that's because they haven't really been engaged, or they tell you they don't like science that much. We do offer environmental science, which is sort of a different take. It offers a lot of integrated science concepts with sort of real world applications. And the goal of that class is to basically get students to sort of re-engage with science and discover some of the sort of interesting applications. With that, I would like to pass it on to our social studies department coordinator, Derek Miyahara. Thank you.
Mr. Miyahara, you're still on mute.
Okay. Hi, I'm Derek Miyahara. I'm the Social Studies Department Coordinator, and I'd like to go to the next slide, please. Most of the students who take social studies will be taking social studies next year as ninth graders will be taking world studies. And world studies is a world history class, starts from 1750 and goes to the present. And is basically your standard world history class. It gets reduced class size support from the foundation. So the class sizes are 25-1. And that's what most of the freshmen will be taking. And I've been doing this for 8 years now. And for the first 7 years, that's what freshmen would be taking. All freshmen would be taking world studies. But this year, next year's freshmen will have an opportunity to take ethnic studies. And we're very excited about this new course that we're going to be offering for ninth grade students in Mountain View Los Altos High School. So an ethnic studies it's an interdisciplinary course. And we'll talk about history, sociology, politics, lots of things about race and ethnicity. But mainly it's going to focus on the contributions of people of color in the United States. Next slide. Now, parents will be able to select ethnic studies as an alternative to world studies. Although space in the course will be limited, so some students may not be able to get the class. But students taking ethnic studies in their freshman year will have the option of taking world studies, AP European history, or AP human geography in the sophomore year. Students who are taking world studies will have an option of taking AP European history, AP human geography, or contemporary world issues in their sophomore year. So next slide, please. So essentially what we're going to be teaching about is historical and contemporary movements for social change, ways to challenge racism and discrimination and positively transform our communities for the better. So next slide. These are the questions that we'll be asking, students will be asking of themselves in ethnic studies. Who am I? What is the story of my family and my community? What can I do to create positive change and bring social justice to my community and to the world? And so these are the kinds of questions we'll be delving into in our year-long ethnic studies course, as well as preparing students for rigorous AP curriculum options in their sophomore year. Okay, next slide. Okay. So this is what we seek to do in ethnic studies: be culturally responsive, inclusive, and non-discriminatory. We're supportive of all the Common Core skills and standards. It's a very inquiry-based class. We want students to come out as participants in their community. And basically, we want them to all have the skills that will prepare them to be successful in our AP courses. So that's an overview of ethnic studies. Students will have, parents will be able to choose between world studies and ethnic studies. We're looking forward to teaching this class, and we're looking forward to having your students on campus next year.
Mr. Miyahara?
Yes.
Can I just intercede? Hi, this is Mrs. Satterwhite again. Yeah. This will be a pilot on our campus this year, so it will be a limited number. So students and parents may sign up for this, and it will be lotterized so that, you know, just because you sign up for ethnic studies this year does not necessarily mean that you will get it. So I just don't want to raise everybody's hopes up out there. We will be offering a certain number of sections, and then other students will have the opportunity to take world studies. So again, if you're interested, please sign up, but there are no guarantees. So I just want to make that clear at this point that it is not an unlimited supply of seats in that class. And so if you're interested, please do sign up, but I'm not able to guarantee that your student will be able to get into ethnic studies for next year.
Also, can I just interject? Great questions coming through the Q&A. A reminder, you can put questions there and we have been answering them. You can see the archive of what's already been answered, but just both of these programs are great opportunities. It is not about which one we get an honors bump for or not, or which is harder than the other. It really, I think, is going to have to do with what their passion is, and both could be perfect for your student, depending on their interest and passion.
So I'd like to pass it over to Antonio Murillo over at the World Language Department.
Thank you so much, Derek. Hi, my name is Antonio Murillo, and I'm the coordinator for the world languages at our school. Next slide, please. On this slide, you can see the 4 languages that are offered in our department. They're a full program. Each language is a full program language. And also you can see the contact person for each of the languages in case your question is not answered in the information that I will be providing. With French, if you notice, we do offer a 3 and 3 honors. The same cases with Spanish with 2 and 2 honors, and then 3 and 3 honors. So let me talk about who, and I believe some of my colleagues mentioned that teachers in their current teachers could really suggest to a student whether there would be a candidate for honors, but also the honors student is a self-motivated student to learn the language. They do the homework and turn it in without having to be pushed. They're organized, able to go through and review daily vocabulary, grammar. They're willing and ready to use the target language as the main mode of communication. And they're okay, and they can handle that fast-paced classwork in the target language. So this applies for any of the honors classes that we offer in our different languages. Latin is a little different of a language because as opposed to the other languages, there's no speaking and listening requirement in this language. Everything is learned through reading and writing. As far as Mandarin, you heard one of our counselors, Ms. Parker, talk about the placement test that will be in person and will be offered by one of our Mandarin teachers. This test is mainly for students who have prior learning experience and wish to have their proficiency level tested. It is not intended for students coming from Egan or Bullis Charter Mandarin programs. These students should enroll in Mandarin 2, and they should not take the placement test, unless it's recommended by their Mandarin teacher. And I believe it was mentioned that you can access the link to the test through our school website. In Spanish, we do offer a heritage speakers class. This is an honors class, and it is a pre-AP class. So the profile of a student that is ideal for this class is somebody a student that is able to read academic texts. They can write in Spanish with few mistakes, and is able to talk about more complex subjects in Spanish. They're willing to do homework regularly and communicate completely in Spanish with the teacher and with fellow students. A great indicator for a student in this heritage class is if they do well in other academic classes. If the student doesn't meet this criteria, then we recommend that they go to level 2 to honors, where they will get strong, solid base skills. If you have any placement questions, you would direct them to me, and I would be happy to schedule a time with you and your student to talk about where they could best fit, what the best classes for them to take. In Spanish, we have a few more offerings. And past level 3, the pathways can vary a little bit. We do recommend for any of our languages for students to take a 4-year program. It can go after 3, they can go to Spanish 4 if the student doesn't feel that confident, or if they need more practice, one more year before they go into the AP. But the AP language, AP literature class, they can be taken in any order after 4 or 3 honors. If they go to 4, they can take either lit or language, either one. So we are excited to welcome your student, and I'll pass it on to my colleague in the Performing Arts Department.
Oh, here I am. Sorry. It's been a while since I have Zoom. Do you have my video, Mr.?
Yes, we can see you and we have the slide ready.
Okay, great. Thank you. Welcome, families, future Eagles. You are headed for an incredible 4 years at Los Altos High School. I'm going to talk with you about performing arts, but I really encourage you, whether it's performing arts or visual arts, to get your student involved in the arts, and hopefully they will start early and work, their way through 4 years of something that they find a passion in. We have 4 disciplines in the performing arts, and you can go to the next slide, please. So our 4 disciplines, as you see, are instrumental music, choral music, drama, and dance. I'm going to start with instrumental music. That department is led by Mr. Ferrucci. So these are the options that your student can get involved in. The nice thing about all of our programs is that no experience is necessary. There's a place for everyone. As Ms. Woolfolk said earlier, if you have an interest, we will find a place for you. Marching band is the first option listed there. Anyone can be part of the marching band. It's a great way to build community. The students form really strong bonds with each other. And it's a great way to get involved not only with music, but playing at the football games, playing at the holiday parade, going to competitions. It's a really great way to get involved and learn about collaboration. The color guard and auxiliary unit is the flag team and rifle team. So that's part of marching band, and marching band is a first semester class only. They perform and play through, I think, mid to late November. So it is a 1 semester course. Other options for freshmen are concert band and symphonic band. Those in the past have been separate courses. This year it's combined. We have some lower numbers this year, but we're hoping students who have or an interest or any music experience who want to get involved, hopefully those numbers will go up, and they might be separated out into 2 different classes, but right now they are combined. The other choice is orchestra, which I think Mr. Ferrucci had mentioned that also with, there are some audition courses as well. If your student has a lot of experience and they want to talk with him about that, definitely email him, because I think there are opportunities coming in as an experienced musician to audition for some of those other groups. In choral music, that's led by Ms. Diaz. Chorale is the place for incoming freshmen. It's another great way to build community, meet other freshmen from other schools. That's the entry-level choral music class. Concert choir is also open to students who have some music experience. So you would contact her to audition, and she holds her auditions in the spring. We all do for our audition courses or in the spring, but contact her directly using her email address there, and she could get you the information about auditioning for concert choir. All of our disciplines do concerts throughout the year. In instrumental music, they do one or 2 per quarter. Same with choral music as well. So they will be doing some outside performances. Most of the rehearsals are done during the school day, during their class period, and then they will perform once or twice during the semester, during each semester. The drama classes, that's what I'm in charge of. Acting 1 would be the entry-level class for your 8th grader. It is a mixed grade level class, which is also a really good experience for 9th graders. They're in there with 9th through 12th graders. And it's a great way to learn public speaking skills, learning to work in groups. Collaboration is a big part of it, and just being creative. So we do a lot of work with monologues and scenes, and just becoming a better public speaker. It leads to them being able to do better presentations in other classes, and it's a lot of fun. For dance, which is led by Ms. Oliver, the only option for
incoming freshmen would be the advanced jazz class, and they would need to audition for that. So that you would need to contact Miss Oliver. And the reason that they cannot sign up for the regular jazz dance class at this point is it is a really hard class to get into, and they have limited that to 10th through 12th graders. But if your student has dance experience, definitely consider auditioning in the spring for advanced jazz dance. The one thing you do need to know is that, as it says there, it is for elective or fine art credit only. 9th graders still have to be enrolled in PE, even if they're taking dance. So that's just something to keep in mind when you're choosing your class. It is not a PE, it doesn't cover PE credit. All of these classes are just really creative and fun. They're kind of a nice break in the day. So when students are trying to decide between, should I just take 6 classes or should I try to add a 7th class? These classes are great for having that 7th class, but it's not as heavy on the academic load. And it's just a different type of experience. So I highly encourage that. I'm going to pass it on to Jessica Hayes, who's going to talk to you about visual arts.
Thank you, Nancy. Welcome everybody to 8th grade parent night. I'm Jessica Hayes, and I'm the department coordinator for the visual arts department. And like Nancy said, would like to encourage you to have your students sign up for the arts. Like Nancy said, it's a wonderful opportunity for them to just be creative and get involved and kind of have that break in their day and focus on something fun that they would really enjoy and have that creativity in their day. So for 9th grade students on the site here on this first slide, you can see my email. Please feel free to reach out to me on my email if you have any questions or concerns about placement for your child in an art class. You can also see there's a link there. This is new. We had one of our AP Studio Art students create this visual arts pathway website for us. It's a great opportunity to go to that. It is also on the Los Altos Visual Arts website. So if you go to the Los Altos Visual Arts website there, you can see the link for that as well. It's a great opportunity to just visually show you sort of the pathway and all the options that they have in the visual arts class. Next slide, please. So students have the opportunity as a freshman coming in to take photography 1, painting 1, or drawing 1. And these are our beginning level art classes. There's no art experience needed for any of the classes. In the photography course, they focus on film-based 35mm photography. So yes, we still have a darkroom and it's fun and fabulous and the students love it. And we also work on digital photography, working in Adobe Photoshop. We have about 30 MacBook Pros in our class that the students are able to use, so they do not need their own device or own equipment. We're very fortunate at Los Altos that all students with their Los Altos MVLA email have access to all the Adobe programs. So it's a great way for students to be able to, whether they have their own device or they're using my device in the classroom, to be able to access that Adobe software, which is really exciting for students and they really enjoy. So in the photography class, we focus on beginning level skills in photography, film and digital based photography. In painting 1, they are working in learning elements of art and principles of design through contemporary painting and traditional painting. They're working with acrylic and watercolors in the painting class, learning those sort of beginning level skills. And then in drawing, they're learning the fundamentals of drawing with different drawing materials, and again, working with the elements of art and principles of design. All the classes are studio-based classes. So when students come to class and projects are introduced, they are actually using the class time to work on projects, get feedback from their teacher. So a lot of the class time is really dedicated to sort of that studio work time. Supplies, all the supplies are provided to students, so they don't need to have their own supplies at home or bring supplies to class. Everything is provided for them. So again, please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions about the visual arts department. We really strongly encourage your students to take an art class. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of opportunity in terms of the visual arts at Los Altos, as well as the performing arts. So we hope your students will get involved in the arts. Thank you so much. And I'll pass it over to Stephen Hine, who's in the coordinator for our TED department.
Thank you. Hello, I am Stephen Hine, and for us, TED stands for Technology, Engineering, and Design. And I'm going to add to your creative outlet elective options here. So first, before going into the year one classes, I just want to kind of highlight the whole program. So this is our engineering design program that ideally is a 4-year program where you start with innovative design essentials and then take 2 years of one of our pathways where the students specialize in various skills. Engineering is more of your mechanical engineering, dealing with computer modeling, structural design, materials analysis. Computer science is your traditional coding, and we have actually 3 classes overall. So depending on what skill levels your students come in with, they can start with intro or they can go right into AP as a sophomore. We do not have freshmen in AP. And robotics is centered around the FIRST robotics competition. So we have an internationally competitive robotics team that builds a gigantic robot that does crazy things every year. We go to competitions locally in California, but also out of state. We've been to the World Championships in Houston twice in the last 4 years. Our prototyping pathway focuses on product design and manufacturing using 3D printers, laser cutters, also taking advantage of the Adobe Suite. And then we also really rely heavily on our art students as well in our design pathway, which is not technically part of our department, but we love to bring in our art students because if any of you know that or are in product design, you know how important visual aesthetics and design is in this process. And then that all comes back together in the Innovative Design Capstone, which is a senior year class, a year-long project-based class where groups of students that are combinations of all of these different pathways come back together and work on some big project. Right now, we have a group that's trying to work on redesigning the aluminum can for canned food into a biodegradable, sustainable, fold-out bowl that can be microwaved. So they're trying to figure that out. All right, next slide. So these are, I'm not going to read through these. You can take a screenshot or just some quick notes, but these are all of our first year courses. One of the courses that is not part of our engineering design program is the culinary classes. And we have an amazing culinary program of 2 different classes, but the second level class can be taken multiple times. And the culinary classes actually just got a brand new, beautiful industrial kitchen in the new building. And it looks like a professional kitchen. There are professional ranges. There's a gigantic walk-in freezer. It's truly amazing. And then I also have to brag about the new engineering building. It's a 3-room engineering building that has a full machine shop in it with CNC routers, your standard machine shop tools like mills, lathes, other power tools. And in the central room, we have a full class set, 32 design workstations that are very high power graphics processing units. So the students walked in the first time they saw it and they were all laughing at how we have better computers than they all have at home and they would want them to go play video games. So it's hard to keep them off of that in our room. And then in the other room is our prototyping room where I already mentioned some of the 3D printers and the laser cutters to rapidly prototype various things. So, and all of that started, quick shout out to the MVLA Foundation. That was, I think, 2 grants about 6 or 7 years ago that helped us create a little corner of a makerspace in what was the robotics classroom. And now we have a 3-room engineering building. If you ever get a chance to go back there, you should check it out. It looks like a community college. It's amazing for a high school. So check it out when you can. And I believe I'm passing this to Miss Satterwhite for ELD.
I guess you are. Thank you very much, Mr. Hine. So I just have to say, first off, we have not had an EL program at Los Altos High School for approximately 8 to 10 years. And we are so excited to be able to bring it back to our campus. And this is a tentative kind of a plan that we have. And this would be if you were a student was a 9th grader. We are reimagining this program to create something that's hopefully very innovative and moves our students through so that they are learning the language, developing their skills, both orally and written in writing. And so every student, except for level 4, would be in 2 different English levels. They would have an English lit and an English oral. At the ELD 3 level, we'll have English lit 3, and we're not clear what we want to do. We're thinking maybe it will be some sort of survey skills class. every ninth grader, and I'm so excited to say this because Mr. Phillips is going to be up right after me, gets, the word is gets to take PE people. It is an integral part of health and safety and wellness, and your students need to get up and move. And can you tell that I am passionate about this? These students will also take math, world studies, and then there'll be some sort of academic support class, because a lot of times students coming into us from other countries or just not being part of US schools don't understand the school process. And so what we're really going to do is spend some time helping students understand, how do you log in to Zoom? What do you do about Canvas or Google Suites? How do you make these things work? Some of the stuff that we take for granted, these students may need a little extra support in, so we're going to work on that. And then they will have opportunities to take electives based on the number of classes that they are taking in these other programs and or their needs or desires. A lot of time, students who are in our EL programs take a world language because it's a good transition for them, but we will wait to see how that happens. So again, this might change, who knows? But right now, we're just very excited to have EL back on our campus, having our students be interactive and back with us instead of over at Mountain View. So welcome to our EL families, and we are going to take very good care of you. And I think I'm turning it over to Mr. Phillips, but since I don't have that slideshow in front of me, I'm just going to guess. Take it away, Mr. Phillips.
Hello, I'm Jim Phillips. I'm representing the Physical Education Department. Thanks for your enthusiasm about our program, Mrs. Satterwhite. And Mr. Hine mentioned the brand new facilities in engineering and culinary. So I have to mention ours, the new small gym and backfield, turf field. So that's all brand new. So we're looking forward to that. All freshmen get to participate in our program and will receive 10 credits for the year. Our students enjoy working together in teams with partners and individually while participating in a wide range of sport, fitness, and mindfulness activities. Our freshman units are badminton, soccer, weight training, basketball, pickleball, ultimate, tennis, volleyball, and swimming, as well as year-long fitness and mindfulness. In our program, your children will be given the opportunity to work hard, build character, develop leadership skills, learn to work as a team to achieve a goal, reduce stress, increase their self-esteem, make friends, and have fun. The PE staff is amazing, and we strive to offer a respectful and supportive environment in our classes and in between classes and all of that. I'm looking forward to working with your kids. I know everybody else is as well. Thanks a lot.
So before we move on to FAQs, we would like to invite anyone who is new to the district. So if your students are not part of our feeder schools, our partner schools, Block, Crittenden, Egan, and Graham, or Bolus, then we would ask that you please go to this link, and I need to capture this, and I'm going to put it into oh, good heavens. I'm going to put it into the Q&A so that you can get to that. And you can join Ms. Vaquero in this new web room. What you need to do is, oh, good heavens, Mr.
You know what?
Can you
As
help
a
me?
little helper, I created a bit.ly link so we can type this in, or if you can put it into one of the answers of the Q&A. But in the meantime, all of my friends that are currently in a private school, that's who's heading to Ms. Vaquero's meeting. It will be bit.ly, so bit.ly/2026 LAHS.
Thank you, Ms. Woolfolk. It worked earlier today. I don't know why I can't get you guys that. Ms. Vaquero, do you have a question? You're on mute, please.
Just to clarify, Bullis Charter School students also need to register. They are not pre-registered at Los Altos. So if they have questions about registration, they should join the room as well.
Thank you. And if you click on that, you should be able to click on that in the link and get you over there. And Ms. Woolfolk and Ms. Vaquero will meet you over there and be ready to rock and roll.
And one more time, if you needed the short link, it was bit.ly/2026 LAHS. It's the same link showing on the screen right now. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. And as parents go to maybe visit in that room, we also have another breakout Zoom room that we would like to do. And that is for students who have IEPs. So if your student has an IEP and you would like to have an opportunity to speak with Mrs. Starks and Ms. Castillo, then please feel free to join this group. And if you give me 1 second, I think I can get to this. I'm not sure why it's not working in the moment, but I think it's maybe because it's live, but let me see what we got going here.
If we can have someone just ask a question about the SPED, I'm sorry, the students who have an IEP, I'll be more than happy to put the answer in the Q&A.
It's right here, Mr. Morales, and I think we got it. So there you go. You should be able to get into that if you have that, or maybe Mr. Morales already got that for us. Fabian, were you able to get that to people?
Yes.
Perfect. If you have questions about that, please type in here and we'll try to get it back out to you. There's a question about 504s. 504s are dealt with in August, and we will go and meet with the schools that your students are coming from, and then we will set up our 504 meetings. So now what we would like to do, although I have to be honest with you, you guys have asked us over 150 questions. If you have other questions that you would like to throw up in the chat, we will try to figure that out. But I'm going to go over and try to review some of the ones that I've seen frequently. So one of the first questions is, when does school start next year? School starts on August 10th. Next question I've seen is, when is freshman orientation? Freshman orientation is Friday, August 5th. That may change, but right now that's where we're at. What happens if I can't get there or my student can't be at orientation? Orientation is not mandatory. Orientation is a time where your students come, they get an opportunity to see the campus, they get to pick up their books, they get to get their picture taken for their ID card, but it's not mandatory. So if your student can't make it, please don't stress about that. We will take good care of them the first day of school. They'll be ready to go. The other question that I saw a couple of times was about private schools. And if you are coming in from a private school, please go to the breakout room with Miss Woolfolk and Miss Vaquero, and we can put that back up there again. I hope Mr. Morales, can you put that back into the chat for us? And there's a couple of things about, can we have a campus tour? Please come to campus anytime we're not in session. You are more than welcome to walk around the campus and cruise. It's pretty straightforward to figure out how things and where the buildings are at. I believe that we will have a campus tour digitally. We're going to try to work on getting that up on our webpage, so you'll have a chance to see what that looks like, so you can get a sense of what that is about. I think Ms. Parker's asking the athletics versus PE question, but I'll just tell you again, because you know how enthusiastic I am. All students get to take PE. If you are a student who has 7 periods, and you make a sports team, you can apply for a waiver during your sports season. And as soon as your sport is over, you will go back into your PE class, but that provides a time for students to be able to do their homework. Because here at high school, sports practice 6 days a week. I know some of you parents are gasping. I know I used to do that when my kids played, but it's pretty competitive. Most sports cut, and it's intense. So just know that there's a lot going on. And as you heard Ms. Noah say, actually athletics starts before school starts, because we have competitions, and most sports need to have a certain number of days of practice before they can actually start to play in games. The other piece that we saw about placement tests, I just need to be really clear. The only place that there is placement tests are for Mandarin students who are not currently enrolled in one of our partner schools, Block, Crittenden, Egan, Graham, and Bullis to a certain extent, because Bullis teachers tell us what we need to know about their Mandarin program. There are no other placement tests, no math placement tests, no English placement tests, no social studies, science, PE, none of those have a placement test. So I just want to be really clear with you. And the only reason we do Mandarin is oftentimes we have students who do not take Mandarin through a school. They take it through another organization, and we're just trying to make sure we get them in the right place. Ms. Moran, I saw some questions about marching band start time and broken box. Do I have to start earlier? Can you maybe address those?
Sure. Marching band does have a camp. I believe it's in early to mid-August, somewhere right around there. So that would be part of the marching band process. Broken box, which is also acting too, we only take sophomores through seniors for that, just because there's just such a huge desire to be in that class. But when your student becomes a freshman, at the end of their freshman year, they can audition to be a member of Broken Box. in the spring. So if they have an interest in that, you can email me and I can give you more information, but that's how that process works.
Perfect. Any activity that's considered a sport is after school. There's 1 or 2 sports that might practice in the morning, but that's not on a regular basis. So if your student is doing a sport, it's after school. Most of those practices start at 4 p.m. and go to 6. Sometimes they go from 6 to 8, depending on our field space and a few other things. Because we now have lights at both the pool and at our turf field, we're able to extend our practicing out to about 8 o'clock. It's important to note that there's about 2,200 kids that go to Los Altos High School, and over half of those students are involved in an athletic event of some sort, in drama, choir, music, instruction. Kids are very involved. And so just know that lots of kids are doing this, and we want your student to be involved. But it's not like middle school where everybody gets to play or everybody makes it. There are things that are reduced. And part of the reason we do that is space. And the other part is that your student will have 4 years to try a bunch of different opportunities here at the high school. So hopefully within the 4 years, they'll be able to really find their passion and explore lots of really interesting things here at the campus. It says, do all sports have cuts? No, not all sports, but many do. There was a question about, can you come and have a tour? Again, you can come anytime that you like to campus, as long as we're not in session. So anytime after 4 or on the weekends. But we do not offer that to our partner schools. And this year, actually, we're going to be doing it slightly differently. So Ms. Woolfolk will get more information out regarding how we're going to do visits, but those are only for non-partner schools, and BOLUS does not apply to come and do tours with us. Because of COVID, we're having to limit things. And so we really want to make sure that we can answer the questions that you have. And that's why we're going out to the partner schools next week. So counselors, you're going to may have to help me with this one, but I want to repeat this one more time. We will be going to Egan and BOLUS on Monday.
Got it.
What? Say that again?
Yes, I said you got it.
Okay. And then on Tuesday, I believe we're going to
Graham.
Thank you, Mr. Morales. Why don't you take it from here?
Thursday we will be Friday we will be visiting Crinton. I always mispronounce
Crittenden. Yes, you got it. And so at Block, I believe we are going to on the same day as Mountain View, and I don't know what date that is. I think it's maybe Tuesday.
Block, yes, I'm sorry. That is Wednesday. Wednesday is Block.
And a lot of times people from Block don't feel the love, but you heard Ida talk about, she came here, she's our ASB president. We feel a lot of love for Block children. We just want your children to come and be part of our high school. So please, please, please make sure that if you have questions, we can answer them, but also know that we really want to make sure that Los Altos High School is a welcoming place for all of our students and parents also. I see a couple of more questions here from the panel. Can you guys think of anything we might need to know?
Can I just give a plug for Mamma Mia?
Oh, absolutely. Please do.
So the Performing Arts Department, we do a musical every other year, and this is the year. And it's students from all over campus. Everyone is allowed to come and audition for this. So you don't even have to be in a performing arts class. We are doing Mamma Mia next week, February 3rd, 4th, and 5th. We have 7 p.m. shows each night and a 2 p.m. matinee on Saturday. We are only selling tickets at the finance office when the finance office reopens on Monday, the 31st. They're open before school, brunch, lunch, and after school. Tickets are $10 for everybody across the board. And we can only fill the house to half due to COVID restrictions. So if you would like to come on by the school, you can buy a ticket at the finance office, and we would love to see you. But you would get a really good idea of what our dance, instrumental, choir, and drama departments can do. So thank you.
Thank you. I'm super appreciative of that. That's very exciting. I think the last piece is that we will be going out to visit with your students next week. And I know the counselor said this, but I just want to repeat this. Your best advice will come from their current teachers. They know your student, they know their capabilities, and they know our curriculum. We know our curriculum, but we don't know your students well. So it's really important that you get that good match. Just to talk a little bit about process with you all, your students will have from Monday clear through February 18th to sign up. We close down the window. Then what will happen is Mr. Morales does some magic, and then we will send a letter out that said, okay, Are you serious? Are these really the classes that you want to take? And you'll have a couple of days to make some changes if you need to. And then we lock it down. We build our schedule purely based on student demand. And we schedule from seniors to freshmen. Your student will get their graduation requirements, absolutely 100%. But can I guarantee you that they're going to be in Miss Hayes's photo class? I don't know. Can I make sure that they're going to be in Mr. Hines', innovation technology? I don't know. But I'm certainly going to try. And this year, as the counselors described, we are actually asking students to tell us alternates, because otherwise Mr. Morales and I get to pick their classes, which is probably not the alternate that they would like. So this year, as you choose your courses, please make sure that you pick an alternate for your electives. The rest of your classes, they're not opportunities. You have a specific math, social studies, English, PE, can't forget PE, world language possibly. So please make sure that if your student is picking an elective, that they choose an alternate for that elective, so that we know if they don't get in, we can get them something that they would like. There are so many different course offerings at Los Altos High School. You could stay here for 7 years and still not take every single class on our campus. So we want your kids to find their passion. We want them to be excited about being at Los Altos, and we are certainly excited to see you all come. So my kind of closing remarks, because I'm seeing parents drift away, so I just want to say this to you all. This class of 2026, is probably the smallest freshman class that we've had in over 7 or 8 years. Right now, we currently have 493, which might sound like a huge number to you guys, but we were dealing with class sizes in close to 600. So we're all going, 493 kids, this is awesome. I'm going to know every freshman on campus. That being said, it is a big transition. And one of the jobs that your students do transitioning from middle school to high school is they kind of push you away. And that's the reason that we start our night with how parents can get involved. Because if anything, this is the time that your kids need you the most. They're going to be facing new situations. They're going to be put into situations with kids who are much older than they are. They're going to just see a whole new world, and they need guidance. They need your support. They might need a little shove in the right direction. So your students will tell you, no, mom, don't come. No, dad, we don't need you. Got to move past that. And if you can't be there for your kids, be there for the other parents' kids who are telling them the same thing. So it's kind of like we gang up against them to support them. So please, please come back and be part of our high school with us. There are lots of opportunities for you to be involved in our high school. And we are so looking forward to welcoming the class of 2026 to Los Altos High School. This presentation has been videoed, and we will put it up on the web along with the slideshow, so that you will have an opportunity to go back and see any of the things that we had to say. So I'd just like to say again, thank you to the 443 families who joined us tonight. You guys almost all showed up. I'm pretty impressed. And we will see you on August 5th. So take care and good night.